We got video analysis number 2, the contact jump mat. So we have Sarah, who is an outside hitter, women's volleyball player at the University of Dayton, and has had 3 years of collegiate level strength conditioning. In the past 3 years, she has built enough muscular strength to now squat and deadlift more than 2 times her body weight. And the concern lies within her 4 jump reactive strength index, which is a 1.75 with a ground contact time of 0.25 seconds. So using the RSI equation, jump height in meters divided by ground contact time in seconds, we can calculate her vertical jump to be about 17.2 inches. So my question for the class is, what does Sarah's calculated vertical jump height tell us? My answer, it tells me that she can get off the ground very fast, but she is not jumping very high. So that means that, yes, she can get off the ground very fast, but she's not generating enough force fast enough to get off the ground high. So her RSI is about a 1.75. That's in the 1.5 to 2 zone. That's about moderate reactive strength ability. We want to increase that to be well established or even the high level of reactive strength. And then this chart down here is the average vertical jumps of female volleyball players in college, which is about 19.9 inches, the 80th percentile being 22.6 inches. So we really want to increase Sarah's vertical to be within that zone. Some areas of focus will be post-activation potentiation, eccentric loading, and stretch shortening cycle activation, more specifically the fast stretch shortening cycle. So for post-activation potentiation training, athletes that have trained within this training regimen have shown an shift to the right in the force velocity curve, meaning that they're generating a high amount of force at higher velocities. And we're going to work with eccentric loading, which works with energy absorption and energy storage to lead to a greater force output. So Sarah has a fast stretch shortening cycle, meaning her ground contact time is about 0.25 seconds. We want to work to improve that to be in the very fast stretch shortening cycle, being less than 0.25 seconds. So by doing this, or to do this, we're going to be working with greater acceleration in the eccentric phase, so a higher velocity in the eccentric phase to create a greater muscle potentiation. Course of action will be plyometrics, 4 stages. So these 4 stages, studies have shown that they improve or increase the activation of the fast stretch shortening cycle. So phase 1 is eccentric jumping, phase 2 is low intensity fast plyometrics, phase 3 is hurdle jumping, phase 4 is depth jumping. We're also going to implement post-activation potentiation training, eccentric acceleration training, both bilaterally and unilaterally, and reactive force training, both bilaterally and unilaterally. Exercise selection, we have plyometrics, we have dumbbell eccentric jumps, ankle vertical jumps, mini hurdle jumps, and depth jumps. For the mini hurdle jumps and the depth jumps, we're going to use Sarah's ground contact time as a way to progress these movements. So whenever Sarah is performing a movement less than 0.25 seconds on the ground, we're going to increase the height of the hurdles or increase the height of her depth jump. We have an example of the dumbbell eccentric jumps here. We're going to work with controlling that tempo in the eccentric phase, really working on energy absorption there to lead to greater force output in the concentric attraction, really working on getting up as high as we can, really working on quiet landings and sticking that landing. Mini hurdle jumps, we're going to be working with getting through those hurdles as fast as we can, minimizing ground contact time, really focusing on having stiff spring-like joints in the knees and ankles. And then for advanced training strategies, research shows that sand plyometrics compared to rigid surface plyometrics, sand plyometrics have shown increases in counter movement jump height, counter movement jump RSI, counter movement jump peak force, counter movement jump rate of force development, and counter movement jump velocity. And that is shown here in this table. Exercise selection continued. We have post-activation potentiation training, which focuses on movements within the same biomechanical nature, one being a heavy loaded movement and one being explosive movement. So with back squats, we're going to have 85 to 90% 1RM paired with explosive squat jumps, really working on exploding up as high as we can, as fast as we can. We're going to have trap bar deadlift at 80 to 85% paired with body weight tuck jumps, working on the same thing, getting off the ground as fast as we can, as high as we can, and the optimal rest between sets for these movements is going to be 3 to 5 minutes. Eccentric acceleration, bilaterally, we're going to be working with speed squats with a moderate load of 60 to 70%. We're going to be working are focusing on the eccentric velocity of this, so we're going to be working on going down fast and exploding up fast. Unilaterally, we got rear foot elevated trap bar deadlifts. Some cues here are going to be driving through that midfoot, controlling the load on the way down, absorbing energy, and exploding on the way up on the concentric contraction phase. Reactive force, we have bilateral banded assisted vertical jumps, working on exploding up as high as we can, as fast as we can, landing on the balls of our feet, really getting off the ground as fast as we can, really working on energy absorption and exploding up through the concentric contraction phase. And unilaterally, we have dumbbell rear foot elevated split squat jumps, same focus here, absorbing energy and exploding up through the concentric contraction phase, really working on handling that external load on the single leg and getting off the ground as fast as we can, as high as we can. And then here are my references, and that is it.